Hello, it is Anna Nimura at Blockchain Futurist Conference 2019, and we have a pleasure speaking with Ramak J.Sedigh from Plouton Mining. Welcome here being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a very interesting conference talking about the future, and your concept of the company is, in a way, futuristic and in a way traditional. We're talking about mining, which nowadays a lot of companies do, but what is characteristic and different about your company is that you're using solar power for creation of the farms for mining.
Correct. So thank you. I appreciate it. This is not traditional in the sense of crypto and Bitcoin mining. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's a 20-year project. Most people are into the next 2 to 3 years. There's a real estate play. The project we own end-to-end, land, facility, building, the mining. It is a proposed project. We have purchased the land so far and we're in the planning. We expect to break ground in about 2 to 3 months. But the key aspect is that we're using sun for the peak hour of electricity to bypass the utility company and in a sense to control our destiny by controlling the important electricity production during the day, which is problematic for every other mining project who tries to plan 2 to 3 years ahead or in the future.
Yes. So nowadays it is being said that China runs all the mining, and there is like 60% of the Bitcoin mining done over there. So are you trying to shift this number and have it like more done in North America using actually solar power?
To be honest, I don't think nowadays they control that much mining after Bitmain stopped most of their mining. Even they were already planning, Bitmain were trying to come to the US, but they experienced some major problems like everybody else has. I'm hoping we can set standard, or we can show people that they need to think more long term. They need to think about a project that's going to help the local community as much as it helps them, and show the average individual there's a future for them in crypto. I mean, the industry, crypto talks about, the adoption is not there, people are not. But on the other hand, when an outsider looks at the projects, everybody is talking for the next 2 to 3 years. Nobody is doing anything long term. Nobody, and we haven't done it. But so far, we at least have put our money where our mouth is, and we've started something that I hope, again, that shows people there's a long-term future in this.
Yes. You started in real estate.
Correct.
And right now you are in crypto space.
Yes.
What really fascinates you personally about this ecosystem?
So on the operation side, on this side of this thing, and when I look at other people who are in crypto, they have businesses, I'm literally speaking at 51, a dinosaur in this thing. So I've seen things. I remember my first business card had a URL and an email. This is in early 90s, and I was a latecomer to that. And they were like, what is this? Like, you think everybody's going to put this on their business card? Fast forward to now. I mean, for the past 20 years, you can't imagine email not being part of what we do, internet not being part of our day-to-day. The blockchain technology is going to change the way we live 1,000 times more than internet did. And that's a safe assessment I'm giving, just to be on the safe side, 1,000 times more. There's so many projects that are in the works that are spectacular. What I understood was more technology and real estate. Yes. I also built a tenant screening service, one of the first nationwide criminal databases that serviced large property operators. I understand technology to an extent, and I understand real estate. So, and I understand without the miners, nobody's going to maintain the blockchain, the network. So we're an essential part of what's going to change our future.
Yes.
And my goal is to, again, to do something that's going to be around for the next 20 years. I want to control my destiny. We want to control our destiny in the sense that we're not dependent to the utility to dictate the pricing, which essentially comes from the peak hour of electricity.
Yes, this is like so far, of course, like using utility and using the power
Right.
influences the prices of cryptocurrencies.
Absolutely.
So you want to change that, and I think
We want to change,
the
yes.
motto of your company is also like, be in your own destiny.
Yes, yes. And again, keep in mind, I'm pragmatic. The project we're trying to be as practical. At night, we tap into the utility company's grid, essentially, but they have excess power. It's almost we're partnering with them and the local community to generate income for them for something they have excess of. Because when you look at the peak hour, there's always going to be an existential question they're going to have to answer. After so many years, they have to spend billions of dollars to generate more capacity for their new growth and new constituents versus canceling existing contracts for the miners.
Yes.
And so far, they have gone with plan B of canceling the contracts. Gigawatt bankruptcy cancellation, Bitmain's expansion was stopped because they wouldn't give them, even though they had a contract to expand. So that's essentially the problem that Plouton Mining is trying to solve.
Super. So you have a fascination with database. How this fascination translates into what you're doing right now in Plouton Mining?
So that's a big aspect that people forget. The amount of data a miner collects is astronomical. And it's a matter of time before the governments are going to start doing this to keep track of it. One of the biggest points that we've brought up to major investors is that we provide fresh minted Bitcoin. It comes with no history. Imagine once the governments start looking into who has owned this piece of Bitcoin, which is traceable.
Yes.
And imagine what they're going to do to stop it.
Yes.
And that's going to happen. So that's also from the data point and information data mining, if you will, we have an advantage. We bring to the institutional investor fresh minted Bitcoin with no concerns whether it went to a sanctioned body at some point in the past, whether it came from a sanctioned country, a thief. If you buy a car, the government finds out you purchased it from somebody who had stolen the car is gone. They will take the car away from you. It's a matter of time. They do the same with all the cryptocurrencies.
So you're using actually database to make sure that everything is transparent, that everything is actually showcased to whoever uses.
Absolutely.
Just making sure
Absolutely.
that everything is like right and positive right from the start.
Right from the start. We get new Bitcoins minted, so there's no history to that. Also, our shareholders, all the information per the requirement of the Delaware corporate law is on the blockchain, so everything is transparent. Our project is going to be audited. We're going to maintain auditing process, and I've told people I welcome questioning of the project. I know the industry. I've been in it. I was a buyer of miners from Gigawatt that went belly up and they filed for bankruptcy. I still made it out safe because I could see what they were doing wrong. But I'm not mad. I've seen, all I can do is to know I'm not the smartest guy in the room or anywhere, but to bring in as many smart people. One of our advisors is a mid-level manager from Gigawatt. He left a year and a half ago before, but he could foresee what was coming there.
Well, that's a very interesting trend, and what you said that, and I've noticed also that a lot of people who worked for a very long time on the prominent position, we can say, they changing that and they seeing the future in those new innovative technologies. If you were to foresee what possibly and how possibly this can develop in next 5 to 10 years, what will be your view on it?
The average person, Main Street, is going to see how blockchain technology is going to help voting. No more fraud in voting. We're done. once we implement that. I believe I read a county in the US tested blockchain voting
No
during the last election.
manipulation, no
You
no
can't.
favoring anyone.
Yeah, you can dual voting. Voting somebody didn't exist. It's done. We're done with property ownership, car ownership, driver's license. All these things are blockchain was designed for it, and it can show the average person how blockchain is going to change the way we live 1,000 times more than internet.
In a positive way.
In a spectacularly positive way, yes.
And probably even we can say that this is going to take us on a journey we cannot even imagine what can bring in the future and how this can develop, because we're still gradually seeing that the implementation and scalability, and with everything, just in the end we'll see. And probably is going to be underlying technology, possibly the same thing like internet.
Absolutely. Internet was, I hate to say it, but the porn industry built the SSL. They were the first to use the security socket layer.
Always.
Yeah,
The criminals.
Exactly. I remember the first time I went to shop on the internet, they wouldn't let me ship the item to anywhere other than address of my billing of the credit card. So there is always going to be the borderline okay, or some criminals, but it's okay. It will become, the technology is too powerful and too good to be wiped out. People are going to see the benefits.
Yes, they are when the most friction is. So let them go first, let them try, and then people can actually see what it can be done, and then we can spread it out for the mass adoption.
Absolutely.
Ramak, thank you so much. Really appreciate it for the insight, for the conversation, and your personal opinion about the subject.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.